My name's Duddits, I do builds and stuff. Today I've got something truly disgusting to show you. Expanding Abyss, void sources deal increased damage to weakened targets. I'm going to pair that with a Lucky Pants to create, I think, the most DPS you can get on Lucky Pants at the moment. I've done some solid testing on this one. Just look at the state of this. This is the hardest loss sector you can do. 20-30 the power level, and it just absolutely rinses him. And the best thing about this is it's a tiny little hand cannon. It's called the Word of Crota. It's about the size of a toy gun, but it absolutely wrecks. I'm going to be featuring Precision Instrument on this hand cannon. And just look at the state of it. It's not even fair. It's an absolute joke. So stay with me. I've got some absolutely humongous numbers to show you. So we'll start off with the Lucky Pants. This is what the build is all based around. When you ready a fully loaded hand cannon that deals kinetic damage or a damage that matches your equipped super, it's going to ramp up to a massive 600% damage increase. So it says in PvE, upon readying a fully loaded kinetic hand cannon or one matching your super element, grants a 60% increase direct hit damage for 5.5 seconds, and it maxes out all the way up to 600%. So if you keep going and keep going, 10 shots, 600% you were going to get. And pairing it up with the Word of Crota, this is a void hand cannon. This is very important. You get this from the Crota raid. I fully crafted it, and I crafted it with Precision Instrument. Dealing sustained damage significantly increases precision damage. It pairs really nicely with the Lucky Pants, because if you get up to ×6, it's a 30%, so you're going to get a 30% plus the 600% from the Lucky Pants. So obviously the very first step to do is just to test the two together. Just test on its own Precision Instrument with the Lucky Pants setup, and you get the 23031. I'm going to slow that down just on its own, by the way. This is just absolutely crazy. Just simply this two little things is really strong. 23031 just with Precision Instruments. Precision Instruments and Lucky Pants working together. Next clip, I'm going to add a snare bob into there, throw this at the target. That will apply a 15% debuff, but because we're hitting him with a melee, it's going to be Facet of Dawn, procking as well. Powered melee hits against targets make you radiant, so we're going to get 25% plus 15%. This is like a multiplicative buff, and you're going to see it go up even more. So absolutely nutty numbers here, guys, and we're not even finished yet. It's going to go all the way up to 43%, 23031, all the way up to 33106. That's a 43.7% damage increase. Weakening, Radiant, Lucky Pants, Precision Instrument, but we can go even further than that, because for this season we've got the Expanding Abyss. Void sources deal increased damage to weakened targets. It's roughly around 10%. Sometimes it's like 8 or 10, 9%, somewhere like that, but it all adds up together and it all stacks together to get an absolutely huge number. So, Expanding Abyss, I've put that under my seasonal artifact perk now, and you're going to see an additional 35987. This is an extra 8%, but like I said, there's a bit more to come and it all works out in the end. So 33106 all the way to 35987, that's an 8.7% damage increase. But again, all these buffs, they're all buffing each other, they're all stacking with each other, they're all benefiting each other because they are multiplicative. So I'm just going to take you back to the very first clip that you ever saw, 23031. This was just a Precision Instrument and the Lucky Pants working. And by the time we've got everything else going on that I've just showed you, the weakening, the radiant, and it goes up to 56%, 23031, all the way up to 35987. 56% damage increase is just absolutely disgusting. What if I told you we could squeeze just a little bit more out of this? Because Prismatic come out this season, Prismatic Hunter, when you pop your super, it will give you an additional 5% on your weapon damage. So we can add this to the mix as well. So all I'm going to do is do everything that you've seen, the weakening, the radiant, the Lucky Pants, the Precision Instrument, pop my super, and you're going to see an additional 5% damage increase all the way up to 37786. So the very first shot again that you ever saw from me was 23031, and by the time we've finished with everything, it goes up to 37876, which is a 64.4% damage increase from this tiny little hand cannon. It looks like a little water pistol, but it absolutely wrecks champions at the hardest difficulty. Absolutely crazy. Now I've explained it all, I'll show you some clips of it working in the hardest difficulty in the game. This is the hardest things I could do in the game right now. This was a 20-30 loss sector and just absolutely destroys this poor overload champion. And like I said, and I'll keep saying it, but it's only a little 180 hand cannon. It's ridiculous, and I'm going to do is show you everything just so I've got it all nailed. Lucky Pants, 600% damage increase. Precision Instrument, 30% damage increase. The weakening effect from the Snare Bomb, 15%, and because it's a melee, it's also proccing the Radiant, which is 25%, and then we're also proccing the Expanding Abyss, which is an additional 8 or 10%. And then finally, popping your Prismatic Super for an extra 5% damage. All these stacking together is just some stupid stacking damage. And again, one more time before I show you some other clips of it working in the top Nightfall. This was a 20-30 loss sector. This champion just gets absolutely deleted. With a little 180 hand cannon, it just feels like an absolute joke. Really, really good. Excellent for end game stuff. I can't really think of anything else to improve this particular build. I don't think I possibly could. The only other question I've got to put to you guys is if the Warden's Law, obviously that's in the game, it's pretty strong, well very strong. 4th time's a charm and Vorpal is the god roll of that. I am going to do some testing on this over the next couple of days in the Grasp of Avarice checkpoint. See if this can actually compete on a DPS level. I suppose the question boils down to whether the 20% from Vorpal is going to be better than the Precision Instrument 30% that you get on the Word of Crota, and on top of that, the Void Weakening. I know the Warden's Law is a harder hitting hand cannon in total, but it's whether the Vorpal weapon is outweighing the Precision Instrument and the Void Weakening from this season. So if any of you guys have an idea on that, let me know. Maybe save me some testing. If not, I will do a video on this probably Monday, see if I can find out which one is actually better. I think it's going to be very, very close from what I can sort of like envisage in my head. I think it's going to be a very close call, and even if it don't, it's still a good build. You might not have a Vorpal weapon, Warden's Law. I hope you found this helpful. Have a great day.